Hey everybody, hope you're all doing good today. Today I wanted to do a Halloween makeup look. I'm going to be doing a makeup look that is supposed to look like Bella Swan slash Bella Cullen whenever she first wakes up and is a new vampire. So I did my hair as close to hers as I could. I know she's not a redhead, but I had already colored my hair when I decided to do this. And then I'll kind of turn the camera here. I know it's going to shift everything, but I have on as similar of a blue dress as I could find on Amazon short notice as to what she wears in the movie. I'm not about to go wrestle a mountain lion after this though. But so the makeup look I have planned is to do as flawless of skin as I can manage without making it look like I have cake face. And just trying to make my lashes look thicker, fuller, like just a natural, like perfect look, which I know isn't gonna happen, but vampires are supposed to look flawless, so I'm gonna try to achieve that today. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you keep on watching. So I'm going to start off with a mixture of primers. So I'm going to use my So Matte Mattifying Foundation Primer by Kokie Professional. And this is going to be a little silly because this is mattifying, but I'm also going to mix in my Revlon Rose Glow Illuminating and Hydrating Primer because I just want my skin to glow as much as possible. Just have them here. I'm going to mix them together. I also have my Bella ring on. I know my nails definitely don't look like Bella either, but it is shellac. And that is way too hard to try to just get off just for the sake of a video. So Bella decided to do her nails today. I forgot I wanted to clip my hair back here so I don't get makeup all in my hair. For my foundation, I'm going to be using my Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. And I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. Normally I don't use a beauty blender to put my foundation on, and if I do, it's not usually that damp. It's like a day old damp. But since I want this to just look very, very natural, I decided to go with this. See, the good thing with being as pale as I am, I don't have to try to lighten my skin tone. So I first got into Twilight. I think the first movie came out when I was 14, I do believe. And yeah, because I think I was 18 when the last one came out. Let's see, where's there 5 of them? So maybe I was 19. Don't quite remember. And I guess I would have been 19. And I thought it was so dumb at first. Like, I hadn't even read the books, hadn't seen the movie, but just the sounds of it was like, this is stupid. But now that I've seen all the movies, read part of the books, I was halfway through the first book, and then my sister came home, and I was like, oh, one of my friends wants to borrow the books, and she took them all. And they're her books, so I can't even tell her no. So I haven't read all the books. I've read the last one, because that was the one I was most interested in. And after all these years, I've come to the conclusion, they are stupid and pointless. But guess what? I love them. I watch them every year. I will have a Twilight marathon. Not in one day. It's usually like I watch it within a week. And my husband sits there and watches them with me and makes fun of them. And his commentary is hilarious. Normally I'm like, don't you dare make fun of my movies or TV shows. But this one's pretty funny because they are ridiculous. And so yeah, but they're those kind of movies you kind of like to sit there and make fun of, but you can also sit there and be like, oh, you know, the love story. And I honestly hate Edward and Bella as a couple until they get married, which is weird. I feel like once they get married and she becomes a vampire, then they're like the cool couple. Like, they do everything together like such a team, whereas beforehand I feel he's so controlling, which I can't stand in a man. Okay, so I got that all in there. Again, like I said, I want to make my skin look as flawless as possible. So I'm going to take my Catrice Liquid Camouflage, put a little here, And then some of my trouble areas. My skin is finally getting clearer. I have been using the Kylie Skin products, which I did make a video about. If you guys want to go watch that next, if you haven't watched it already. And I am pleased with the products, but I'm not going to go into all that. You can watch the video if you want to know my thoughts. So I'm going to blend all this in. So from the get-go, so I first watched the movie, I remember my mom was just very against them. Like, she let my sister read the books and watch, because only the first movie was out at this time. And my sister-in-law really got into the book. She was like, oh, I'm kind of curious. My friends read it. Can I borrow the book? And my sister was going out on a date at the time. And so, or maybe she was just hanging with friends. And so my sister-in-law, she was home for Christmas. And she's like, well, can I maybe start reading the book while you're gone? And my sister's like, yeah, no problem. So she comes home and my sister-in-law sneaks into her bedroom and is like, here, you can have your book back. She was already halfway through the book. My sister had been gone maybe 3-4 hours, and my sister-in-law had just plowed through this book. So they became good fans, and another friend of ours was really into it. And so I was like, okay, well, now I'm kind of curious. But my mom was just very against it. She was just, you know, the way she was raised, and especially in her time, movies of her time, vampires were basically demons. And so she was just like, no, they're like trying to humanize demons. No, you're not reading that. But my sister and sister-in-law were adults. Well, you know, she obviously couldn't tell my sister-in-law no. But my sister was an adult. My mom was like, I can't tell you no. But she could tell me no, because I was only like 13, 14. I think I was 14. But then the one night, it was just my dad and I at home. My mom was out of town. And we were going to watch a movie. And I was like, Dad, please come watch Twilight. Because my sister owned it. It was at the house. I think I've tapped this in enough. I just want it to look flawless. I don't want it to look like I have makeup all over my face. And I was like, Dad, can we please watch Twilight? I'm like, I promise you. You watch it with me. And I promise if you say, no, I don't agree with this, turn it off. I won't argue with you. Real quick, I'm going to take my NYX Professional Makeup Highlight and Contour. She has really chiseled cheekbones in this movie, especially when she wakes up. And so I'm going to try to kind of create that. I don't really have natural cheekbones to begin with, as I've talked about before. So I'm going to kind of just create that. It's going to look kind of funny, but like in person. But hopefully like on video and in pictures, it's going to look cool. So I'm going to take this shade right here, which is Tan. Very simple shade. And I'm just gonna I'm not gonna blend it up like I normally would. I'm just gonna okay. So now I'm gonna go in with that same shade again and carve out my jawline. She has a pretty sharp jawline in this movie as well. So back to the story. So my dad said, well, you know, I don't want to go behind your mom's back, because my dad was kind of like, I don't really care, but, you know, he didn't want to go behind my mom's back and be like, oh, no, she can watch it. And so he's like, well, let me call your mom and see what she says. So we called mom and he talked to her, and he's like, I mean, I think it's okay as long as I'm watching it with her. And if there's anything inappropriate, you know, I'll make sure to tell her to turn it off. And she's promised she won't argue, and if she does argue, she's in trouble. And my mom's like, okay, fine. Danny, I tell you though, if you second guess yourself, like, don't you dare. Like, just, I'm gonna carve up my nose a little too. I'm telling you, if it gets bad or if it gets scary, because that's the other thing, my mom does not like scary films. So part of it was the vampires. She just didn't really agree with that. And the other half was like, I don't like scary films. And she didn't want me watching scary films as well. So he's like, don't worry, we will. So watch the movie. I enjoy it. We get done. Credits are rolling. And I look at my dad to be like, okay, so am I allowed to watch these now? And he goes, it's the dumbest thing I've ever watched in my life. I don't care if you watch these. And he told my mom that too. So I was quite ecstatic I got to watch them. I'm going to brighten up under my eye a little bit. I'm going to use these first two shades here of my NYX palette. This is Ice Queen and Soft Light. So Ice Queen has a little bit of shimmer, which I'm not mad about though, because normally I wouldn't want that, but I'm a vampire now, so I can have shimmery skin. I just want to glow. And I am going to take a little of that Ice Queen though and kind of put it all over my face up in here, because why not? So now moving on to cheeks, I'm going to use this Honest Beauty Truly Thrilling Cream Blush. Again, because I just want it to look very like it's my skin. I don't want it to look like powdery on there. So I'm going to take my Beauty Blender again, just do a little 2 taps, and I'm going to build up as needed. Because I don't really, she kind of has a soft glow, but it's not really like pinky undertone all over. My favorite movie of the Twilight franchise, I really like New Moon. That may be my favorite, even though she's so annoying, like sulking because Edward's gone. I really like her relationship with Jacob, how that starts blossoming. I do think that they would have made a good match. I think she definitely would have loved him, and even like he says, like if you had stayed away for like 2 more months, I could have made her happy, and I definitely think he could have, but then the whole Renesmee thing happens and it's like, oh, that's why they were a thing, which I kind of find hokey because everything else in that movie is so realistic. But I'm like, no, I don't think it was just because an egg inside her was attracted to Jacob, excuse me. I think they really had an attraction there, but whatever, I'm not the author. I'm gonna do a glow now, it's even more of a glow on my cheekbones. I'm gonna use my Flesh highlighter stick in Startle. Again, put it on my Beauty Blender. I just like to use a Beauty Blender for this kind of stuff. I feel it makes it look more like my actual skin. It's kind of pressing it into my skin versus it smudging on there with like a brush or my fingers. So for my eyebrows, her eyebrows are very natural. She doesn't have them all drawn in perfectly like I would normally do. So I'm going to just take a eyebrow pencil. This is Maybelline's Brow Ultra Slim in, I think it's just brown, medium brown. So I'm just going to kind of fill in some of my sparse bits here of my brow. Alrighty, so moving on to eyes, I'm going to take my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette here, and I'm going to take just a little bit of, I believe this is Silk Cream. Yes, Silk Cream. Just a little bit, and I'm going to kind of put that up in here, up in my crease. So the eye look is going to be very simple. And so see, my other favorite vampires would be, I love Carlisle. I think he's great. I also love Billy. He's not a vampire, but I love Billy. That's another thing. I remember seeing this TikTok, and it was like, you know, who I liked as a teenager, and it was, of course, like Edward and all this kind of stuff. It's like me watching Twilight as an adult, and it's Billy. It's like, oh, well, hey there. And it's like, yeah, he's definitely daddy material. My husband's gonna watch this and be like, you're never watching Twilight again. Okay, so I'm going to go over my whole lid then, mixing both of these together. This is Silk Cream and MFEO, which stands for Made for Each Other. It's going to go all over my lid. So I also love Rosalie. And even though she's kind of mean to Bella, I like that she at least was so honest with Bella. Like, look, this is what I wanted for my life. I had everything, and it was taken from me. I didn't have a choice. You do, and all that kind of jazz. And so she was really kind of laying it out there for Bella. Like, look, there's things you think you're going to want in life, or the things that you don't think you want. Like her big thing was kids. You're never going to grow old. You're never going to have kids. And Bella's like, oh, I don't want that. I want that. But then I love, as soon as she found out she was pregnant, she was like, oh my gosh, I love this baby already. And whenever Edward starts being a butthead, who does she call? Rosalie. Because she knows, she understands. And I think it's kind of like Rose was right, which I feel she doesn't really get credit for. Maybe more in the books. Like I said, I haven't read, I guess I did read the last book, but it's been quite a while. But it's like, yeah, I feel like she doesn't really get credit for being like, yeah, I was right. I knew you're going to want a baby, which is not true for everyone. I'm not trying to say that. But it's like, yeah, you're going to want a baby, trust me. And you can't have it. Well, then she can have it. Look at her, just screwing all the rules. So now I'm going to go in with a darker brown. I'm going to use this one right here, which is Mocha. I'm just going to do a teeny bit. And I'm just kind of darken this outer lid, flick it out a little bit, kind of give it a little bit of a cat eye. Probably my least favorite vampire is Alice. I think everyone just loves Alice. Like, she's just like the greatest friend in the world. I can't stand Alice personally. I don't know, maybe that's mean. I just don't like her. I don't know what it is. I think I just find her obnoxious, which I think she's kind of supposed to be slightly obnoxious. But I kind of feel Bella wouldn't really be that close of friends with someone like her. I don't know. I could be so wrong on that. I just feel like Bella would be kind of like, okay, she's way too much for me. I don't really want to put eyeliner on, so I'm just going to put it kind of like underneath this spot here. Hold on, let me free up a hand here. All right, so this right in here, I'm going to darken that with eyeliner because I just want to create a thicker lash line. You kind of see the difference there. This is really hard to do with a liquid liner. Normally I would use a pencil liner, but I left it upstairs and don't feel like going to get it. So now I'm going to curl my lashes. Just using my lash curler. I don't know what kind of this is. It's not any fancy kind. I got it from like the drugstore. And now I'm going to use some lash primer here. This is the Loreal Paris Voluminous Lash Primer. For my mascara, I'm going to use the Kokie Professional Volume and Length Mascara in the color black. Coat my upper lashes, and then for my bottom lashes, I'm just going to do a little bit on the outer corner. My least favorite Twilight movie would probably be the first one, because there's aspects of Eclipse I really like as well. I love like the battle scene. But Eclipse can also kind of run long. So that may be half and half. But like the first one is just kind of like it's the classic, but it's also just kind of setting the scene, so it takes a little longer, I feel. And I feel the character developments were better portrayed in other later films. Okay, I'm going to take these out because these are bugging me and I think I'm done with them. Now I'm going to take my lash separator here, just because I want everything to look perfect. I don't want clumpy lashes. While I'm letting that sit, I am going to put on false lashes. I'm going to do the individual ones, but I want my mascara to set a little more. So I'm now going to go in. Let me unpackage this first. I got this in my Ipsy bag. This is Lottie London Slay All Day in the color So Good. So it's just like a nice kind of almost like a dusty rose burgundy kind of color here. So I'm just going to put a little bit here and spread it around with my finger. Because I just want a tint of color. I need a wax mustache. At work, I have to wear a mask. So I haven't been worrying about it because really no one sees it unless you're close up with me. So usually I try to keep up with it for work, but no one sees me at work anymore. Everyone's seen the mouth anyways, so I haven't been worrying about it. But now that I'm looking in this nice lighting, oh yes, look at that lovely mustache. Life has not been kind to Bella. She now has a stash. Okay, so I'm going to use now these false lashes. These are beauty accessories. These are just individual lashes. I got these off Amazon. So I'm going to use the Duo Strip Lash Adhesive. Even though I'm using individuals, it still works. This is the pink one. I just do a little dot on the container here. You can see all my other used dots. And then, oh, looking for my tweezers. So I just take an individual lash, dip the tip into the glue. I'm gonna let it sit for about 20-30 seconds. And now I'm going to just start applying them. Whoops. Along my lash line. I'm not going to do a perfectly straight line. I'm gonna spread them out a bit because I want it to look more natural. I just want it to look like my eyelashes are a little fuller than they actually are. All right, so for the finishing touch then, I'm going to put in some red contacts to really make myself look like Bella. So I'm gonna pause this, I'm gonna pop those in, and I'll be back. Okay, so we are back here. Here is the finished look with my contacts. This just really takes it to the next level in my opinion. I'm going to finish off with my Milani Make It Last spray. Done. So these are, I think it's just the website, I believe it's called just like colored contacts. I just Googled it. So they're not like world's most amazing. You can still see like my actual eye color through there, but they have so many different styles. So, and they're pretty cheap. Like this pair, this is the non-prescription pair. So you can get it with your contacts prescription in it, but that's like $40 because you have to pay for 2 different kinds of lenses unless your eyes are the exact same prescription. Mine are not. So I was like, I'll just get the non-prescription pair. And because I'm only going to do this for like this video and for photos and stuff, I don't need to really see to take a picture. So I'm going to back up here so you can kind of see with the dress as well, kind of get the full effect. There is my Bella Swan / Cullen makeup look here. I think the color of these contacts, there was like so many different reds that I had picked out, and I finally decided on this pair. I think this was just honestly called like Vampire Red. They even had one that was called Volturi. That might be what, or Volturi. That might be what this pair is. I really don't remember. It was so long ago I ordered them. So I got my Bella ring, got my Bella dress, got my Bella contacts and makeup. So I hope you like this and hope you all have a happy Halloween. Bye.